This TK Irish Camp Kennerk podcast. Yes, sirree. Hey, we're into the new year. We are doing stuff that we promised ourselves we wouldn't do, breaking resolutions. But that's okay. It doesn't mean you can't, start them up again. And, everybody has to have a little restart occasionally. And, I was sitting here talking with some of my family over the holidays, and, something came up that I wanted to share with you. We've talked about the fact that I'm the youngest of eight Irish Catholic children growing up in Indiana. So, a story came back out I want to share with you that happened back in the day. I was just a toddler, so I really wasn't guilty of this, but I was a participant in some capacities. Well, back in the day, before internet, before the TV, before, cell phones, we had to entertain ourselves during the summer days. I mean, you got maybe 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, your mom kicks you out of the house and go play, come back when it's dinner time. So we would do that. And we would, when there's eight of us there, we'd have to entertain ourselves. So what are we going to do today? It's sort of the rural country and well, this one day things were really boring, and everybody was talking. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And my sister Hannah was look playing with my brother Dan, who was 3 years old at the time, and was pretending to see if he could fit in the mailbox. Now, back in the day, we had rural mailboxes that were maybe 3 or 4 times the size of the traditional mailbox, and yes, a 3-year-old could fit in the mailbox at that time. So everyone was playing and doing this, doing that. And then someone saw the mailman coming down the road. Now, the mailman coming down the road was a big deal because out in the country, we didn't get a lot of traffic. So it was a big thing to get the mail. So everything's going well. Mama Kay is in the house and she pauses and she's thinking, I got 8 kids out there playing and I don't hear a word from them. So she looks out the window and she sees 7 little bodies hiding behind the hedges by the mailbox. And she's going, what in the world is going on here? So she pauses. She watches the mailman pull up. Mailman opens up the door. Out pops my brother Dan going, hey, hi, Mr. Mailman. Well, the mail went flying up in the air. He took off speeding down the road. And of course, everybody, all us kids were laughing. We thought that was the funniest thing. That was just like a cartoon. And so we were laughing, laughing, laughing. We went on our way, and mom didn't come out to correct us or anything because, A, what's she going to do? Don't put your brother in the mailbox again? That's the way it was. So later in the day, about 3 in the afternoon, phone rings, and other end of the phone, the voice goes, hello, Helen. This is Jimmy O'Connor. Oh, Jimmy, how are you today? I'm fine. I'm fine. Now, Helen, our families have been close together for many, many years. And I'm the postmaster now over here in Fort Wayne, and something's come about that quite frankly, I'm scratching my head trying to get my head around it. And she goes, Jimmy, what's the going on over there that you got your concern about? Well, Helen, here's the situation. I got a mail carrier here standing in front of me, and he's shaken up. And he is saying he's never going to go direct deliver mail at the Kennerk household ever again. And he's telling us this cockamamie story about delivering the mail. A little boy pops out of the mailbox. He gets scared. He throws the mail up in the air and he speeds off and comes right back to the post office swearing that this is the craziest family he's ever seen. Now, Helen, I just got to ask you, is this anything that you may know about? Ah, Jimmy, it's funny you mentioned this because, yes, I saw it with my own eyes. Oh, and Jimmy, you would have loved to see the expression of that mailman. I mean, we were laughing, and you'd be laughing as well. So, Jimmy, I gotta tell you, yeah, it really did happen at the Canucks, and we are sort of whacked out, but that's the reason why we're friends, Jimmy. So, is there anything else we could help you with? No, Helen, I think you answered my question today. So, it took us a while to get a mailman to come by and give us our mail in a timely manner. But this mailman was pretty smart because he brought us candy. So every day he should say, if you guys stay away, let me put the mail in the mailbox, you guys get a piece of gum. So we had an agreement. We negotiated gum from the mailman. So Jamie, that's the reason why I act the way I do, Doug the neighbor, because you can't make this stuff up.
TK, so good to see you. And that is a hilarious story. Hilarious. Dan in the mailbox.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Now, do you
yeah.
have a national Irish holiday concerning that day?
Well, we talk about it, and you know what? You know how things are. About 20 years later, Mama Kay is at a wedding, and a gentleman comes up to her and says, are you Helen Kennerk that used to live on South Bend Drive? Oh, I
Yeah.
still live on South Bend Drive. I was your mailman when that little boy popped out.
20 years later, the legend.
The
The
legend
legend.
continues.
You need to check your calendar and find the come close to the date so we can have a national Dan in the mailbox.
Okay.
Because my dad was a mailman. After the military, he was mailman.
Uh-huh.
So
Hmm.
he didn't have any crazy stories like that, but that's a Dan in the mailbox
Dan
day.
in the mailbox.
It's a
And there,
legend. It's a legend in Fort Wayne, right?
yeah, and to make the situation even crazier was Dan hair stood straight out. So
Okay.
it wasn't laid down like regular hair. So
Yeah.
think of a blonde haired, blue eyed boy with an afro with no curl popping his head out of the mailbox.
And the thing is, if I was the mailman and doing my job, and I see it in my own life where I have a mission. I have a
Yeah.
mission, so that's all I think about. So if someone turns the corner or says hello, I'm just like, oh, geez, because I'm on a mission.
Yeah. Focus. I'm focused, coach. I'm focused.
Yeah, focus, focus. Yeah, so I can understand the mailman just freaking out. That's pretty darn funny, TK. We need to find out that work on the date so we have the national day. You know.
Okay, it'll be in between June 1st and September 1st. I can guarantee you that.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll pick a day.
I'll look that up. I'll go back to the phone records.
Okay. We'll make it a national day for postmen.
Yes,
You,
yes.
you leave
Yeah.
because of Dan, leave some candy in the mailbox for your for- Dan candy. We'll call it Dan candy
Dan Candy, yeah.
specifically. Yeah, specifically for, and we'll use a logo. We'll get Kevin, the magnificent computer dude, to draw a face of Dan with his hair sticking out and put that on a candy or something.
There is a picture around here I found some time ago of him, and literally, it really was. It was, it just stuck straight out and flopped right over his eyes like a
Okay.
sheepdog.
Okay, well, there's another $1 million idea for our website. You see, we've got the Ghana cookies, blah blah
Yep.
blah blah
Yeah.
blah. So
Hmm.
now we have Dan candies for the mail, specifically for the mail carrier.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know,
We'll work
and
on that.
you think about it, we have you and I are good friends, and we see each other twice a week, and we chat and that sort of
Mhm.
stuff. And we have solid friends, and I have some solid friends that I only may see once or twice a year, or talk to them once or twice a year, and they live
Mhm.
elsewhere. But the mailman, you see him every day.
Yeah, yeah. So hold on, I worked up a thirst telling that
Okay,
story. I gotta get some of my Dr. Pepper in me here, buddy.
I got some right here too, my big gulp.
Mm. Every time I tell that story,
Okay, all
I
right, TK.
yes.
We were frozen there for a moment, but let me just get my stuff on here. This is my Possum Trot Bakery cookie hat because making cookies are a hard business. You have to be careful. And
Yes.
today, the little T-Wow who's 14 years old and makes cookies, she brought some cookies by and we bag them. We put them on in this bag here and we send them off to our service troops in a box. There's one, two, there's One, two, three. That's three. There's 6 dozen in the box, and then we
Hmm.
fill in the priority mail thing, and then the custom thing, and we send them off to our uh, soldiers and sailors, men and women around the world. And I want to show you this box. Here it is for our starting. This is our 5th year, January of our 5th year, and I believe Kevin, the magnificent computer dude, was a recipient of our cookies.
Yes, it's funny you mentioned that because he was asking me about this the other day, if you were still doing your cookie program, and he was still talking about how all the guys in the barracks just, thought that was the greatest thing that Doug the neighbor and the Possum Trot Bakery got together to do this.
Right. Well, our fifth
Yeah.
year. And the reason I brought it up today is because the cookies were delivered this morning. And the rule is I taste one for taste, quality, and the second one for consistency. And then I got to get them out of here because they're really good. Now, today I was busy and we're doing the show at night. So these have to get to the post office very early because they sit in the fridge and they go, duh, peppermint cookies. We love you. And I can hear them through the refrigerator. And
Well,
I have to
especially,
be, TK, I have to be honest. I've already broke my New Year's resolution. I had a pint of Bluebell ice cream.
well, I had a pint too, but it wasn't Bluebell ice cream. It
So
was
how,
my intention, Douglas. It was my intention to get some Bluebell, but I just heard the word pint and I said,
yeah.
I know what that means. And look what time it is.
Look what time it is. And it's cold and it's winter night. Yeah, yeah, I understand it. And Irish is usually medicinal,
Oh
that sort of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, self-medicating. We call it the correct term now is self-medicating.
Yes, yes.
Medicinal is a word that's, that's very foreign to this generation.
Attitude adjustment. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yes. Now, how are you doing on your resolutions? You were telling me you were in some sort of situation 3 times a week. Tell
Yep.
us about
Yep. I go working out at the local gym, getting my cardio in and my stretching, and I don't need to work on my muscles because the atrophy's kicked in so much that doesn't matter. But at least I figured at least I keep my heart rate going. The muscles, have something going through there.
Right. Now, what is the name of the gym?
It's the Cedar Hill County Community Center.
Oh,
It's
okay. So you have lots of friends over there that we could send this podcast to.
Oh yeah, I'm making them. I'm getting there.
Yeah.
But you see, Douglas, at 9 in the morning, you don't have the business people there. You got the retirees, and the retirees around here quite aren't exuberant as me. And I'm just trying to figure out, A, how do I light a firecracker under their workout pants? Or what do I need to do to get them to
Yeah.
understand that life is more than complaining about a hip replacement and what part of the hip replacement? So
Or this
we're working
morning,
on it. We're working on it.
a buddy's going in for a colonoscopy, and he was complaining about how he had to pay $50 a bottle for that, the cleaner, the
Yeah.
intestinal
Hmm.
cleaner. I
Hmm.
looked at him and I said, "Look, I'm Doug the neighbor with free advice for $1. I'm going to save you a bunch of money. Go on over to Taco Bell and get that burrito supreme for $4.99."
That's right.
That guy just looked at me and he wasn't so sure what to say.
That's the reason why it's free advice for $1.
Free advice for $1.
Yeah, the New Year's resolution, they say that they on average last about 9 days. So there's
Well,
intention made, but what can you say? At least they made an effort.
well, this is the 14th, so everything's cratering. But that's why we did that podcast concerning on New Year's Eve concerning wouldn't it be nice or wish list.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be nice if you continued working out 3 times a week? Wouldn't it be nice if I didn't have so much Bluebell ice cream? You
Well,
know, what,
now, see, here's the thing, Douglas, and I was going to ask the trainer about this. Now, those 16-ounce cans of beer, those curls, those 16-ounce curls, does that really constitute as a workout? I'm not sure how to approach him on that.
and the last time I checked, beer was made out of wheat or barley, so isn't it a vegetarian liquid?
Douglas, that's what we're going to have to do to do our research and report back to all our listeners in our galaxy. And
Yes.
before I forget, I want to give a shout out to Becky.
Becky?
Becky caught our podcast
Yes.
recently, and I got a note and saying, "Is this Tom from South Bend Drive in Fort Wayne, Indiana?" I replied back. I said, "Yes, it is." Says, "Well, my name's Becky." And she told me her last name and a little background, and we had gone to high school together.
Oh,
So,
isn't that sweet?
yeah, so she wanted to say how much she enjoyed the podcast. And we caught up, catching up with, what have you been doing the last 50 years? Nothing, but anyways,
Well, isn't that
Becky,
sweet?
Becky was never really big on long-term explanations with word being a wordsmith. It was just a sort of you get the answer, you get the question, you answer the question.
She's not a talker like you and I. We can bore people to death or frighten them with our jokes.
Yeah.
Well, that is really terrific to hear from people who have listened to the podcast and hopefully they share it. And we shout out to Becky and hope she's doing well in life.
Yeah, I really did. It was, and it was just when she came back to, she told me her maiden name, and then all of a sudden, all the cosmic tumblers started turning in my head,
Oh,
going,
sure,
"Oh
sure.
yes,"
Yeah, yeah.
talking about all the stuff we used to do.
Yes, at our age, it educate us a little bit more information before we go, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, well, especially with women, because they get married and they change their name, and so I
Change
was,
their hair. They change
yeah.
their
Well, don't let's not even go there, Douglas.
hair. And then the other thing is, when we were in high school, we were all thin and skinny and good looking. Now we're older and says, well, how do you recognize me? I got 50 extra pounds on me. Yeah. Or when I was into the reunion, somebody would say their name, I'm looking into their eyes trying to see them. Are they in
Yeah,
there?
like you look in their eye thinking maybe there's a code in there, like
Yeah.
oh, we were in homeroom together, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we
You're
were in
looking
math class together, but those codes don't happen.
looking for the code. Absolutely true. But TK, I also wanted to bring up this is a very interesting day. Okay.
All right.
January the 14th on a
Uh-huh.
Wednesday night. We're doing this podcast. Today is known as baseball solstice.
Huh.
Baseball solstice. And what it is we are halfway between the last pitch of the World Series and pitchers and catchers when the pitchers and catchers go to spring training.
Well, how are
So
we?
it's baseball solstice.
Like
We're
summer
half.
solstice, winter solstice, baseball solstice.
Yes, we're halfway through there. You see.
So we got to get tuned up and start doing our baseball homework for this coming spring because
Yes, and we had chatted about this, and I think your idea of covering minor league teams in Texas,
yeah.
industrial leagues, minor league teams. Now, the Rangers are Texas Rangers, my love. The Houston Astros are a great team, but for TK and DTN in the Camp Kennerk podcast, the whole aspect of the minor leagues where they're out there struggling and scuffing to make the big show, that sort of
The
stuff.
guys working on their dream since,
Working on the dream. What are we doing? What are we doing? This is
mhm.
podcast number 47, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're working on the dream.
yeah.
And, so we can relate to those people.
And there's always so many great stories behind, about the guys who come in and they play 10 years, never make it to the show, and then all of a sudden The boys of summer, they get hot and they need somebody to come up to do some pinch hitting because of injuries. And that
Right.
guy who's been the road warrior for 10 years in the AAA is called up
Yeah.
and gets to the show, gets to the
Yeah.
batter's box, hits the
Oh,
ball,
right.
and crowds
Right.
go crazy. Yay!
Isn't that the story of Bull Durham?
I think
He's
that's a story of a lot of bull, but that's a different story.
Bull Durham, the guy who was in the minors
Yeah,
for 10
yeah,
years. He had
yeah,
most home runs, and they never called him up and that sort of
yeah.
stuff. So there's a whole bunch of other stories. Isn't there that Texas pitcher from Lake City, Texas, who was in the minors? Then he got called up to the Tampa Bay Devil Rays or something like that. I think was it
Oh, the
Dennis?
rookie.
Yeah, was that called the Rookie? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and there's the old stories of the Fort Worth Tiger Cats, Tie Cats, or something like that, a minor
Yeah.
league team years ago,
Hmm.
and El Paso. We were the Sun Kings, and now we're the Chihuahuas, and so the whole story. So there's lots to cover, and this is baseball solstice, and right now we start the winter leagues where we are around the hot. It's called the Winter Leagues Hot Stove League, the Hot Stove League, where it's cold outside and you're around the hot stove. And the old farmers would talk about, well, if they get that pitcher from so and so, or they
Hmm.
trade this guy, the
Hmm.
Hot Stove League, start
Yes.
talking about
Yes.
it. Well, we'll figure out something for the Camp Kennerk Baseball League.
Yes. Yeah, because there's always great stories that come through there. And
Yes,
not
yes.
that's not only just the players, but the managers and coaches.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
They all have a story, and it's just how it depends on how well we want to tell it.
Yes, yes, and we had a what was his name? We had a guy that I went to high school with. He was a catcher, and he ended up being a major league manager. I can't remember his name. I'll have to do some homework. But you see, this is homework time.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is homework time. So anyway, baseball solstice, halfway from the end of the World Series till the spring training in baseball. So it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Now, TK, little change of subject here. You know that I love playing with my stats. You know
Ah,
that.
yes.
Oh, yes. Okay. And they are weird stats. And I don't have a computer, so I have to do everything by pen and paper, you know.
Not
Pen,
pencil and paper, pen and paper.
pen and paper. Yeah, that's why it's got all these squiggles. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. So when I moved here from New York City to Austin in
Hmm.
2013, okay, Austin is a boom town. It is a boom town. It has been a boom town because of the governments here, the schools here, great lifestyle, and now people are moving here from California. We are a boom town. Okay. Now, I looked up the name of the 7 companies that are publicly traded and are based here in Austin. Okay, based here. Their home office is here. And so I started this, when did I start this? In January of 2024. Now, I've been here for 9 years, 10, 11 years by that time, but it was
Hmm.
just kept seeing how Austin was growing. What if I came up with a stock index and I called it the Austin Boomtown Stock Index?
Okay.
Okay, just like the Wall Street Dow Jones
Hmm.
index, the
Hmm.
S&P 500, that sort
Hmm.
of stuff, and the Nasdaq 500 and all the other indexes out there.
Hmm.
So an index. And so here are the companies, the 7 companies that are based here in Austin, their headquarters, and they're Cirrus Logic, Dell Computers, everybody knows Dell. They've been here forever. Digital Realty, Oracle moved here. That was a big move from California because of the problems out in California doing business out there. The flight of the companies out of California. Oracle came here 3 or 4 years ago or something like that. We got Silicon Labs are here, and we've got Tesla. Elon Musk moved Tesla all the way here. We're the headquarters here, and they built a plant out here by the airport, and it's huge. It takes about a mile just to drive down it. Just keep going on it. They're here, and then Yeti. The containers, the coolers, that sort of stuff. So those are the seven corporations that are based here. So I looked at their stock indexes, and every time on the first of the month, I write the index down, or excuse me, I write the price of the stock down, total it on up, divide it by seven, and that gives me an index. Then I compare that index with the previous month and then the start of the year. Now, this for the month of January, uh, the on January 1st, okay, the index indicated that it was 9.4% ahead or up since the previous January.
For the 12 months, for the year.
For the year, yes, okay.
Mhm.
And then one up 1% since December. So it's minimal. It's like a minimum of 1% just up in December. Now,
Hmm.
December, you have a lot of tax selling, and then everything starts up in January again. But so the index for this January 1 of 2026 gives me a number divided by 7, which equals an index, which is up 1% over December, and then up 9.4% over last January.
Yes.
So if somebody smart and in that business wish to create an index, they could start here. And then I've also been doing some research on San Antonio. San Antonio has 15 companies that are based in San Antonio and their index. And I've been just kind of fooling around with that. Now you could have the Austin Boomtown, San Antonio Sweet Stock Index, and of course you got Houston, then you got the Dallas Fort Worth, and you've got Texas as a whole.
Hmm.
So each of these could be financial products that could be sold to investors, and because they do it for many other things, you
Sure.
know.
Yeah, they'll design anything to put a dollar sign in front of it and saying it's for sale.
Yes, and look at it this way: you're spreading your risk around, and you're still investing in Austin under the Austin Boomtown Stock Index, up 9.4% since last January.
Yeah. I think we talked about this the other day that U-Haul came out with a report saying that Dallas Fort Worth is the number one location for all their equipment to be coming in.
Right, right.
So,
Yes, and there's another index that is looked at on Wall Street. It's the pickup. It's called the pickup index, something like that. Pickup sales, uh, new and used, because when the shovel-ready type workers, the blue collar guys, the carpenters, the plumbers, that sort of thing, when things are good, they're buying pickups. And things are a little slow, they're getting their pickups repossessed.
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
That's reality. So
Hmm.
there's an index called the pickup index, and the whole aspect of to help you make more money. So the Camp Kennerk podcast likes to make people some money. So if anybody's interested, I am not a financial advisor. This is entertainment only. But if you're looking for something of interest for your money, take a look at the Austin Boomtown Stock Index and create your own. You
Yeah,
know,
have some fun with it.
yeah, have some fun
Worst
with it.
case scenario, teach your kids something about money.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Yeah, and look at it this way: if you're living in Austin or Dallas or Houston or something, well, and you're out driving, see, well, you own that. In the old
Yeah.
days, people would say, well, get your kids started buying McDonald's stock
Hmm. Yeah.
or Disneyland stock. But
Or
I'd say McDonald's.
Xerox.
I'm sorry,
Xerox.
Xerox. Well, I like Disneyland because or McDonald's because then when they drive by or go to McDonald's, they would say, "You need a fry." Well, you're an owner. Save your money and buy more stock.
Well, I grew up where, we didn't go to McDonald's. We went to law firms and the businesses and hung out with my father. So
Yes.
that was the thing. See that Xerox machine over there, young man? You own part of that.
That's the way to do it. TK, always a pleasure talking to you. And on this nice Wednesday night, I'm going to have uh, there's some those cookies. I'm going to lock them in the refrigerator, and I'm going to have a nice glass of orange juice, I think.
Well, aren't you healthy? Now, I'm glad you're having that orange juice, but something's telling me it's just not all orange juice, Douglas. But that's okay. Get your
That's okay.
vitamin C. TK Irish is not here as a dietitian, so
TK, that's all I got. Always great seeing you. Go Cowboys.
Aaron go bra.